make sure you guys check out www.procivic.com for all your 9th gen and Civic needs. And also make sure you guys check out www.blinkingbrakelights.com for blinking brake light tail bulbs, which can help you better be seen and safe out in traffic. Use the code GOT10 at checkout for 10% off. What's going on, guys? This is your boy Got Maliga, and today we're finally going to be installing some coilovers on the car. So I'm pretty excited about this. Thanks to procivic.com for all your 9th gen needs. Head over to their website for hooking it up with these D2 RS coilovers, and I'm super excited to get them on the car. We're gonna have to do a lot of things. It's gonna take a while. This is the first time I've ever installed coilovers ever. I've done tons of research. I'm gonna link Rudy's video to installing these specific coilovers to the car in the description below. That way you guys can see in case I missed anything. So we're gonna be doing that today. I'm gonna have Pops helping me out today, so that's gonna be awesome. But in the meantime, what we're gonna do is gonna move a couple cars around. We're gonna get the Civic in the garage, and then after that, we're gonna get the install started. So see you guys in a little bit. So just to let you guys know that if you guys haven't checked out already my how to install lowering springs video, I'm gonna link that in the top right hand corner and also in the description below. Make sure you guys check that out, because that video also has a lot of detail into removing your front struts out of the car. I'm not gonna touch up on that on this video because I already have, so check out that video up in the top right hand corner to find out how to uninstall these struts, the OEM struts from the car. I'm going to be touching the rear though, so I will be filming on how to do the rear, because I know I had some questions about how to install coilovers on a 9th gen Civic on the rear side, because it's really complicated. I don't know why Honda made it complicated, but engineering at its finest as always. But I'm gonna put the front together. I'm gonna try and touch up on the things that I haven't already touched on in that video, on this video. So make sure you guys refer back to the Skunk 2 lowering springs video to find out how to remove the strut from the car, because I'm only gonna be filming the important stuff here, because I really do not want this to be a 20-minute long video. So we'll catch you guys in a little bit after I got the car up on the jack stands in the garage. Alright, so after a long time, see, here's the thing, folks. This is the first time I've ever installed the coilover before. I got one side done, so you guys wouldn't see the headache I was going through, but so that's the left side. We got the right side all installed. Just so you guys know, before you install it, you have to keep the dampening adjustment. The dampening adjustment knob needs to be on the coilover before you install it. Just as a slight reminder here. So here, let me see if y'all can see that. Right up there, you got one side installed, all good to go. And now, since we know what we're doing, we're gonna go ahead and get to the other side. You can see the giant difference, the droop difference between this side and the coilover side. So let's get right to it. So as you can already tell, you can see the difference here between my stock strut with the Skunk 2 lowering springs here and the D2 coilovers right here. So not to worry though. We're gonna get this all nice and installed in the car in just a minute. So yeah, let's go ahead and take care of it. So I've got the D2 coilover installed. Like I said, follow the steps to take off and put back on the strut tower from my Skunk 2 lowering springs video. It's the same thing. So what you're gonna do is, if you want a ride height a lot like mine, which is very similar to the Skunk 2's but about a finger higher, it's gonna be about 2 fingers on the threads. Do not touch the preload because it already comes preloaded. So all it is left to do is to put the sway bar end link there, put the hub back onto that assembly and clip everything together, and then that's it for the front side. Make sure it's tight, make sure the preload's tight. You take a screwdriver or something and then you mark it, the little line. just to make sure that your coilover hasn't moved. And if it has, those marks will tell you if it did move. So yep, that's pretty much it. So this is week number 2. It was raining earlier last week, so I couldn't do this last week, but I'm now getting to the rear coilovers. I already did the front. Put all my tools here and stuff like that. Oh, by the way, if anybody's in the Northern Virginia area interested in skunk tooth lowering springs, 75 bucks, non-negotiable. So I'm gonna take off this side. I'm gonna show you guys how it's done, because the rear side is very complicated. I'm still trying to figure it out. So, but the first step is get that little bolt out. You see right there. See if I can turn up the brightness on. There we go. Get this bolt out. Okay. And once that's out and loosened, we're gonna get to the tire. I generally find it a lot more convenient and useful to get rid of this first. That way I don't have to come back up here. So I also understand there wasn't a lot of clarity behind what a special tool is on the skunk tooth lowering springs video. So you can see this little ratchet wrench here. You can see the socket for it has a hole in the middle, so you can put an Allen key in the middle. Okay, because that's necessary in order to get that bolt off. So that's what I meant by a special tool, because the sway bar end links and these bolts are all the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that. I'm gonna put my tool here in the middle. Okay, so that's to loosen. And what you do is you take the Allen key, you put the Allen key right in the middle, then you loosen it up. And while you're loosening it up, you'll see the Allen key touch the frame right here. And there it is, it's loose. And then you just loosen this bolt up. Alrighty, got that bolt out. Grab the spacer, put it over here, along with everything else. You're gonna need this later, by the way. We're gonna need this tool as well to come to the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and just leave that here already. And right now I'm gonna push everything. By the way, you guys are not gonna see my face, because right now I look like a mess. And I'm not in the mood to show y'all. I'm not in the mood to show y'all my face right now. I honestly do not look good. So, right now I need to get the strut all situated. So the strut, since this is a different than your normal coilover setup. Usually you'd have like usually you'd have the spring here for your preload, and then the strut. On the 9th Gen Civics is actually separate. It's kind of annoying. It's kind of a pain to deal with. This is actually, I mean, like any coilover setup, it's trial and error. It's annoying, but you know, if I have to deal with it, then you guys surely will. But the setup on the other side, I have 4 inches of thread on it. So let's see. So it needs to be about down here. So right now I'm gonna twist this all the way to 4 inches. Perfect. So 4 inches right here. I'll bring the locking collar down. I know it looks like it's like being filmed through a potato, so I apologize for that. There we go. So now I got my strut nice and measured to match the other side. The spring goes into the car like this, like top to bottom. So I already measured this as well, and now all I need to do is tighten and lock it. I have, I believe, 1.5 inches of thread on this one. Let me just check. Yep, 1.5 inches of thread right here. This is 1.5 inches. I think the car is going to sit too high, but you know, this is trial and error. So we're figuring this out. I haven't put the car on the ground yet to figure out, you know, what the height is. I have to drive around and let the coilover settle and things like that. It's really this is really frustrating. The Civic's frustrating coilover setup is absolutely ridiculous. So I apologize ahead of time for that. But 1.5 inches of thread on the spring. I'm gonna lock this in already. I'm gonna make sure it's nice and tight. And done, we're gonna get to the install. So as you can see, I took the speed sensor or ABS sensor out from this bracket here. It's real simple, so that's what you need to take off. Your next step will be to take off the sway bar end link. It's real simple. You need your special tool, an Allen key, and this would come right off. And then your next step would be to take care of the strut. And then after you take care of the strut, man, everything else is really, really easy and very simple. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. And you can see that the Allen key gets caught up on the camber arm. That way it doesn't twist on its own. This one just twist right on off. Fell on the ground here. I gotta get it, but the sway bar end link comes right off. You can put that over to the side here. Okay, your next step would be to get rid of that strut bolt. You're gonna probably need a breaker bar. I needed a breaker bar for one side. So it's a 14, by the way. So you're gonna need a breaker bar to kind of pull it up here. I'm gonna have to put the camera away for this one because it's actually in the way of me breaking this one loose. So give me a second. Okay. Okay, so that's right. That's it right there. There we go. Breaker bar really comes in handy for something like this because this bolt was a pain to take out. So there we go. Put that bolt somewhere important so you don't lose it. Your next step would be to take the spring out from underneath the car, which is quite easy. Go, come on, come on. There we go. And then your next step would be to take the strut out. It's kind of like the same process. You sort of just wiggle it around here. Keep pressing down on it. And we can take it from underneath, that's fine too. Go. So it said so on D2's website that you need to cut these guides for the spring right here and right here. It's all part of the instructions. I'm only doing it because it's required, so I'm using a razor blade here to be as accurate as possible. So with this little guide here, you cut from underneath, curving upwards, and then you come from up top and then cut down. There it is, and that comes right out. So there you go, everything's cut, nice and easy. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually bolt up the strut first, because the strut's the hardest part. And then after we do that, we're going to put the spring on, and then the sway bar end link back on, the wheel back on, get the car on the ground, see how it looks, and then wait for the coilovers to settle for a day. Then after that, if we need to do some adjustments, then we'll do it. Otherwise, we'll keep it all the same. So let's do it. When you remove the old strut from the car, you're gonna take this bushing that's on this one and put it on the D2s. As you can see, the D2s are they're pretty equal with the stock strut. So I just have a little bit more preload on this one. That way it doesn't bottom out. But the stock strut can go out to the side. We don't need that anymore. And the bolt that was on top along with the washer, these two right here, great. So the bolt and washer that comes on top of it goes on the trunk. So when you're inside the trunk to put this back on, this will go on first and then the bolt will go on second. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to install the strut and then put the spring on, bolt everything up, and then we'll see what happens. So So there's a lot of things that need doing here, a lot of adjusting before we can get this started. So okay, no, don't move, don't move. I got it just perfect. Okay, now that we have the strut assembled here, that was the hard part, to get the bolt back onto the control arm. We're gonna put the spring in, because we can readjust the top, no problem, but the bottom part where the control arm is, that's the hardest part. So that's why I generally start with the control arm first rather than the ladder. So what I'm gonna do now is go ahead and put this spring back on. Ooh, I forgot the rubber boot. Can't do it without that. Make sure the rubber boot is on. All good here. Let me twist this in place. Fantastic. Bring the control arm up. Alright, so now what we're going to do is, the new size for this is actually a 17. So it's the same process. Just tighten it up. Take the Allen key, put it right in the middle. Twist it till it hits the frame, and then the frame will hold on to the Allen key while you tighten your strut bolt. There it is. Take your dampening pin supplied by D2, put it right in there. I like to put it at its hardest setting. So now we're back here with the strut bolt. Just gotta make sure it's tight this time. Yo. Next is the sway bar end link, which we're going to need our handy dandy jack for. Yes. Gotta grab a notch here. There we go. Okay. And then your next step would be to make a line right here and right there on everything. So, same here with this thing. You can sort of see I made a line from up here all the way down the strut. Just kind of show me in case this moves around. I got an idea. I did on the spring side, on the spring perch side as well. So right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the wheel back on. We're gonna put everything back on. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. We're gonna put that ABS line back on. Everything's in reverse. So make sure this is tight. Make sure these are tight and locked, which I already did. At least I hope. Yep. And then get everything bolted up and ready to go.
We be too lit, yeah. Feels like a cool stick, yeah. Money, who you foolin'? I be with the gang in the back coolin', yeah. We be too lit. Feels like a cool stick, ain't getting money, who you foolin'? I be with the gang in the back coolin', yeah.
That's your bitch, I hit her first, but I'm the one who make her for myself, I put in work, put that nigga in the dirt, I'm real loyal, but it's tempting. It's thotties don't, the end they tempt me. I need it all, my nigga, you can't scam me. I got niggas who will leave you.
So as you can see, the rears are exactly 13 inches from the top of the fender, and the fronts are 13 and a half. Okay, it's supposed to be that way because usually your springs or your coils, the front sits lower than the back. I want it to be the opposite. I know it's not a good idea, front wheel drive car, whatever, but I'm rubbing too much in the front right now, or I was. I'm not rubbing anymore. Man, she looks great. She looks absolutely wonderful. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. It's been your boy God Maliga. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. That's gonna be down in the description below. If you like this video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you enjoy my content. Say bye, Bentley. And we out. Peace.